Origin launcher is dog shit. The Epic Store launcher is dog shit. Literally the only good launchers I've ever used that I would be willing, like Steam and GOG, Good Old Games. Good Old Games launcher, I like them because their launcher combines all of your games into one. So like if you go on the Good Old, say if you have games on the Epic Games Store, you have games on Uplay, and if you have games on a bunch of different platforms and you're on PC, Good Old Games will consolidate all of your libraries together, and you can view them individually and all that shit. So like that makes Good Old Games just great in general, because instead of me having to like open Steam and open this and open that and open this and open this, I can just fucking open Good Old Games and be like, okay, let's see like what games I have on even Amazon games. I think, I mean, I barely own any games on Good Old Games. I never use the launcher, but like that's what I like about it, is that consolidates everything. Steam is the only launcher I fucking use though. Like that's the like if I'm using another launcher, it's because I'm forced to open the game through that, you know, like, or like fucking Origin does that, Uplay does that with their games. I hate that. I fucking hate it. If you are going to put your game on multiple launchers, like fucking Battlefield, you know, actually Battlefield 4, I think just opens on Steam. It doesn't even open Origin. But whatever game you play, where it's like, oh, say it's made by EA, so it's gonna open through, so you can buy it on Steam, but it will open through the EA launcher, like, or the Uplay launcher. Like, no, let me open the game through Steam. Don't force me to open your launcher, because now there's two programs open. And for people that don't have really good PCs, or even medium to high-end PCs, you know, just a low-end PC, maybe even some medium-end PCs, you know, like middle of the ground, they're gonna get an FPS decrease from that. Might not be a lot and whatnot, but still, it's like, I shouldn't need two fucking different programs open. And because it's like, well, you need Steam open because that's where you bought the game, so you have to click play on there. You can't just open it on the other platform. That's my problem with fucking Battlefield 2042. I can't just open the Origin launcher and click play on there, even though when I open it on Epic Games and I click play on Epic Games, it opens the Origin launcher and runs it through that. Like, it makes no fucking sense. PC gaming is so fucking stupid, genuinely. Like, these companies are all morons. Like, not every game does this, but there's a select few where it's just annoying. Like, you open the game and then it opens a launcher and then it opens the game through that launcher. I'm like, this is ridiculous. Recently, as of late, the last, I would say 2 years now, PC gaming has been good and bad. I feel like if you were to play video games, majority of people are going to play on the Xbox 360 and like PS3. You know, back then was like the Xbox 360 and PS3 were like, before, like PC wasn't even like a thought for a majority of people. Like, it was like, it's like, oh, like there's PC, yeah, and all that, but nobody really used it. Like, no younger people, at least when I was a kid, when I was like 8, 9, you know, 12, it's like, I don't care about PC. Like, I don't know, like, no reason to buy a PC or whatever. I'm just going to use my Xbox 360 and whatnot. That's what everybody else is using. Like, I feel like a lot of the younger people didn't use it, you know? And now I feel like all of those people have grown up like myself and got a PC. I got a PC like my freshman year of high school, and that's when I started playing PC games. And then 2015 and like 2016 was when people started migrating to PC, because you had these huge games that were PC only, like PUBG. PUBG was fucking massive. I don't doubt that game was a cause for so many people getting into PC and making PC such like a powerhouse it is now, where companies actually have to go, okay, like, we have to actually think about the PC market when we're making our games, you know? Like, if you're like Call of Duty wasn't anything, you know? Like, it was console only. Like, they didn't give a fuck about PC. You know, there was mad cheaters. Like, yeah, Call of Duty was on Steam, but if you look back, like, all I remember hearing people talk about was how there was so many cheaters on PC and all of this for COD and whatnot. I don't think it was that bad, but still, it was like, yeah, like, it wasn't, like, if you wanted to play COD the right way, you would honestly play it on fucking console. Unless you were playing, like, modded zombies. Like, that's the only time I feel like people I ever saw, like, bigger YouTubers or anybody playing COD on PC. Nowadays, it's like, you know, PUBG just brought PC into the mainstream, I feel like. Don't get me wrong, I don't think people bought PCs necessarily for PUBG. I mean, there definitely was people, but I also feel like a decent amount of people had PCs at that time, like myself and like a bunch of, you know, a lot of other people. PUBG is what like made everybody realize, holy shit, like only PC has access to this game. I tried to make him think that I tried to make him think that I didn't think he was a spy, even though I knew he was a spy. And now I feel like PC is just like on par with console, if not more popular than console is in a way. Maybe popular since console is so just easy to get into, you know? You just buy the console, you don't need to know anything. As somebody who is super big into PC gaming, and you know, I love building PCs and shit, I understand, you know, how difficult PC is. PC really is like, you can get into PC if you don't know a lot about PC hardware and whatnot. You know, I still think it's a great platform to game on. You know, if you're somebody who's like just really big into gaming in general, I would still recommend it to you, you know? I wouldn't tell you, hey, don't get a PC, get a console. No, if you're big into gaming, or say you even want to go pro in a video game, you know, maybe you want to live stream or whatever, I'd say, yeah, you're probably going to want to get a PC because it's just way easier to do all of that on a PC. You have more control over everything. Keyboard and mouse, especially if you want to go pro in a game, depending on what the game is, you know, really the only video game that professional players play on controller is Rocket League or Call of Duty. So say you're playing Overwatch, you know, Overwatch League doesn't have like any controller players, that they're all on keyboard and mouse. You know, you can play on controller, but you're not going to be playing against, you know, pro players and competitive or anything because you're playing on keyboard and or controller. You know, nobody's playing on console. That was a nasty headshot. You know, nobody's playing on console, none of the actual pros or anybody. You know, then you had like Blackout. I feel like Blackout brought a lot of people. I feel like Blackout is what brought Call of Duty to PC. Man, no, I don't want to say that. That's wrong. Call of Duty has always been on PC, but got it to the point where it was like, hey, it's cross-play and we're going to constantly update it and treat it, you know, like we care about it for the PC users and not just be like, here's the new Call of Duty game. If there's cheaters, we don't give a fuck. We're not banning them, you know? Because I feel like Black Ops 4 was like first Call of Duty game to really pick up traction on Steam or on PC in general. Obviously, Blizzard buying Activision, or, you know, helped, or Activision buying Blizzard, you know, helped them come into the PC space because it's like, okay, well, we now own a, like, primarily PC company, or who owns who, or whatever the fuck, I don't know who, but, you know, it's like, okay, like, our partners over here, they're on PC, so let's just release, but I feel like Call of Duty World War II really brought players to like made Call of Duty a bit more playable on PC, even though Call of Duty World War II wasn't that good of a COD game. It was still, you know, I feel like a decent amount of people were playing it on PC, and it was like wasn't really that many cheaters, at least for the first month. You know, it was fun because I remember buying Call of Duty. That was the first COD game I had bought in a couple years because Infinite Warfare wasn't good, and Modern Warfare Remastered wasn't on PC, I think, or you had to buy Infinite Warfare, and it's like not really worth it, you know? It's like I don't want Infinite Warfare, you know, $60 for a fucking $20 game, or for just a bonus game that I get with it that I would end up playing more. And then Black Ops 4, you know, really, I feel like pushed PC, like, or made the developers realize, hey, like PC gaming, you know, Call of Duty on PC is like worth it. Because you had Blackout and you had players like Shroud, you know, that's right after Shroud quit. Well, PUBG was when Shroud quit Counter-Strike, and that's when he started full-time streaming, and that's, you know, when his viewer numbers were like absolutely fucking crazy. You know, he was like, I think for a certain amount of time, the #1 most watched Twitch streamer. He was averaging 50,000 plus viewers a stream for like an entire year straight, or maybe even longer. Like he was going crazy, and nobody was watching him. And that's when you had like Fortnite releasing, and Fortnite, obviously the battle royale was just fucking huge, you know, on PC. Like, yeah, it's on console and shit, but I think it started on PC, and it was just like all of the big name people you saw playing it on Twitch and shit were people playing on PC. So then you just have that, and it's like, oh, people start to realize, hey, like everybody's playing on PC, like this is the way to go. Or at least a lot of the younger people, you know, at that time. Because when I was playing Fortnite, I was probably 17, not even 16. I think I was like 17, like early 17. So like I already had a PC at that time. Me and like a bunch of my other friends, you know, we were all already playing on PC exclusively. And like Black Ops 4, like Blackout and whatnot, like all those games, and PUBG really helped bring everybody else who wasn't already on PC to start playing on it, or, you know, realize, hey, this is like actually doable. Like it's like you should get a PC. It's not really that difficult. Yeah, it's a little bit more expensive than console, but you know, you don't have to pay for online. The online is free. That's nasty, dude. I hit him with that. I gotta taunt them. I don't give a fuck if I die. Call of Duty Blackout. Like Blackout really brought it over. PUBG, yeah, I mean, that was averaging like when PUBG was at it in its prime back in like 2017, that game, it was averaging like 2 million players a day for a certain amount of time. Like it was fucking crazy. Like how many, like it was the most played game on Steam for, I can't even remember how long. Like it was just, everybody was playing that game. Like you were buying a PC to play that game. It was just, everybody was playing it. And it was an exclusive on PC for quite a while. It didn't come to Xbox or console in general for a while. Like I think like it took 2 years. Like it took until it's like full release, and then it like barely ran on console. But man, PUBG was fucking crazy back in its prime. It was really fun. Back when it released, it was just everybody was just having fun with it. Yeah, I don't know. I'm still surprised, like, that there's still a decent amount of games that haven't been brought to PC. I mean, there's PlayStation 4, like, PlayStation exclusives are now on PC. How was NHL, UFC, and MLB not on PC? Like, I keep, because my favorite sport is hockey, and I love playing NHL, and I can't, there's no NHL games on PC. There's none on Steam, there's none on Origin, there's literally none. And I've talked about this before, how that's what I hate about this monopoly of sports games, where NBA 2K is the only company that can make an NBA game. They have the rights to it. So there's no competition. So they could just make a copy and paste shitty ass NBA game, and that's the only thing people are able to buy. If you want an NBA game, sorry, you're fuck out of luck if you want a good one. You want one that's actually well made and like put thought into? Nope, go fuck you. Like, go fuck yourself. Like, I don't know why UFC is not on PC. I don't know why MLB is not on PC. I don't know. Like, you would expect sports games, you would expect the league or whoever owns, like, is selling the rights to these companies to say, hey, put it on every platform so we can maximize our profit. Like, sports are the one thing that you want everybody to be able to get involved in, no matter how old you are, you know, what age or anything. Like, the NHL is not going to go up to a 6-year-old girl and be like, oh yeah, like, you're not allowed to play hockey, go fuck yourself. Why? Why should, just because I play games on PC, or because I play games on Xbox, I can't play MLB, or I can't play this game, like this specific sport? It makes no sense. Like, sports games should be the one game. Like, if not, like, sell the rights to some, like, give the rights for PC at least to somebody else then who's willing to make the game. Like, it's dumb. It makes no sense. Like, isn't that the one thing that these sports companies, like, want, is a greater reach? You know, look at the NBA. They just was like, oh yeah, like, get everybody involved. Fucking WNBA, like, all this, like, yeah, like, do this and that. Like, try to, as many countries and as many people as possible. And then it's like, yeah, but for the video game, you know, something that anybody can access, even if you're disabled or whatever the fuck, even if you can't play the sport in real life for some reason. It's like, nope, you have to have this specific console. It's like, that makes no fucking sense. Like, if God of War can get a fucking PC release, why can't NHL? Why can't UFC? It's funny because I remember I looked it up on, like, I always look it up every year to see if NHL is going to be coming out on PC, and it never fucking will. And somebody responded, somebody said why on a Reddit post. They were like, well, because the last NHL game to release on PC was like NHL 14 or something, and you can't even get it on PC anymore. Like, there's nowhere to buy it. Well, they stopped releasing NHL games on PC because the sales numbers were low. which that makes sense, you know, especially for 10 years ago when PC wasn't the dominant, you know, powerhouse of gaming that it is now. There wasn't as many people playing games on PC, or the gaming space wasn't as huge. Like, yeah, there was a lot of people playing League of Legends and shit, but it wasn't anything compared to like Call of Duty on the Xbox 360 and shit, you know, which had millions and millions of players. But nowadays it's not like that. And then somebody else responded like, yeah, they released a shitty PS2 port of an NHL game to PC, which got a low score, so then they just never released another NHL game because it was a shitty fucking port. I would still play a shitty port. Like, genuinely, I would pay $100 for a shitty port simply because I can't get the game. I can't play it in general. Like, I don't know if I've said this in a video, but I've said this to myself a couple times. Or at least while I was recording, and maybe it just, you know, those recordings were just bullshit recordings that don't get added to a video. Why is there such a stronghold on any kind of sports game? I wish it was a legal thing where, like, you can't have one company, you know, like, NBA shouldn't be allowed to have only 2K make NBA games, but, like, I get it, like, that's just capitalism, you know? But I wish these, like, NBA or, like, all of these sports companies would just, like, please, for the love of God, get more studios to make your games. Like, imagine if there were 2 studios with the rights to fucking... Like, imagine having 2 studios with the rights to make fucking, like, NBA games. Because then you have competition. And competition is good for the consumer. Because all it does is make it so they actually have to put work in and make a better fucking product. You know, not have a monopoly on a product and allow them to make the product as expensive or as shitty as they want it to be. That's why 2K is able to release the same shitty NBA game every fucking year. And it's the only NBA game you're able to buy. They don't have to put any effort into it. They just copy, paste, and done. Who cares if the same exact features are broken every single time we fucking release a new game? It doesn't matter. It's the only NBA game you can buy. And people are going to buy it because people like basketball. They like the NBA. So it's just this, like, horrible, shitty thing. Like, it's, you know, there's not, like, not every sports game is shitty like that. And 2K is one of the shittiest. And, like, you have FIFA with its microtransactions and how fucking horrible that shit is. But, like, it's getting to a point, like 2K and FIFA, at least with the microtransactions. But you almost want legal people involved because it's like, hey, like, you're basically making a defective product every single year. And, like, it's a monopoly. Yeah, that's all it is. Weird to say it. It's like, how can you have a monopoly on a video game? But it technically is in a way. Because it's not like God of War. Like, you wouldn't consider God of War a monopoly. No, like, PlayStation or whoever, like, PlayStation owns God of War. So they're, you know, choose what happens with it or whatnot. Which makes sense because they're the ones that created it. It would be different if the NBA themselves said, we're going to, not only are we the NBA and we have, you know, basketball itself, we're going to make an NBA game studio. Then I would be, okay, if it wasn't 2K Studios licensed to somebody, if it was literally just called NBA Game Studios, then I would be like, okay, fine, you know, release it on whichever console you want, have a console exclusive, that would make more sense. But the fact that it's licensed and then you just have this licensed studio, like, it's awful because it's not even like the NBA or any of these organizations give a shit. They just say, okay, who's the highest bidder for this license? You are? Here you go. Do whatever the fuck you want with it. Tarnish our reputation for all we fucking care, because that's really all it does. Like the NBA 2K games have a horrible fucking reputation for just being lazy as fuck, copy and pastes. It's just that nothing ever fixed. Like, they've got horrible bugs. I've experienced the same exact audio bug and in NBA 2K for the last, like, 6 NBA games I've played. Like, NBA 2K20, NBA 2K21, NBA 2K22, and NBA 2K23 all have the same audio bug where you can turn your in-game audio to 0, but the moment a cutscene happens, it's always max and it never fucking changes, and you can't change it. It's broken. There are so many, like, the cutscenes are broken. Like, the game NBA 2K23 looks like it was made in 2016. NBA 2016 looks just as good as 2K23. Like, what the fuck is going on? Like, I get it, it's a sports game. It doesn't need to look million times amazing, but it's just weird when you have NBA 2K16 that runs better than NBA 2K22, you know? Like, to me, it's a monopoly, you know? Only having one studio make a sport game, because at that point, it's not like a self-created game. It's like, this is a sport, you know? Like, you want as many people as possible to be included into this. It's weird. It makes no sense. It's weird. Yeah, other people can make basketball games, but you can't use, like, NBA logos and all that shit, and I get it. That's what Charles Barkley should do. Or Charles Barkley, like, he doesn't allow his likeness to be in NBA 2K due to pay or whatever. So, like, he's not in 2K. But, like, if Charles Barkley wanted to, he can probably, like, fund a game studio or some shit and be like, hey, you should, like, make a fucking basketball game. Don't call it NBA, just, like, call it, like, basketball, like, the game or some shit. And then just, like, have, like, all of the people that weren't in fucking, like, the 2K games or didn't allow their likeness to be in it to be put in that game. You know, get your contacts going to be like, hey, you mind if you want to be in this game? You know, like, we're going to make something better and we're going to give our money, like, this way or whatever y'all want us to do with the proceeds. Because, like, even if you look back to, like, NBA Jam and NBA Live and, like, NBA Street, such an amazing game. Like, NBA Street was such a good game. And, like, it's genuinely, NBA Street is better than, like, any NBA 2K game that has come out in the last 10 years. Alright, I hope you have a good day, good evening, good night. I'll see you in the next one out.